J&V Restaurant Supply has been your home for everything tailgating for the last 45 years. Stop into one of our 3 locations to pick up everything you will need to make your tailgate a winner. From bar gadgets to all the professional cooking tools you'll need to score big with your buddies, the public is always welcome. And to celebrate our 45th anniversary, J&V is offering drone delivery. Maybe we'll just use the truck. Go Cats!
Well, excited to be back here another week, and obviously coming off a big win. I thought our guys went out to California and did the things we intended on doing. Obviously, a really explosive game on offense, and defensively, a couple things in that first half. But by and large, we held them in check, and ultimately we really played our twos the entire second half. So it was a great experience for that group, and maybe took some lumps, but we were able to put some points on the board, and I thought we got better with that crew in all phases as that went along. So great experience for that group. Big week ahead of us. That goes without saying. Obviously, the opponent is our rival, and we understand wholeheartedly what that all means. And the addition of College Game Day coming here is great for our university, our state, the rivalry, everything around it. But for us and our guys, it's still about Saturday going out at noon, performing the best we can against a really good team. We have to have a great week of preparation. I don't think we have to do anything out of the ordinary, but we have to play really well. And that's why I felt like we needed to take a step on Saturday, and thought that game did that for us. And now it's about practicing this week, preparing, and playing real well come Saturday. So with that, I'll open it up.
Coach, not the first time you've experienced a game day back to, your wife Molly, I've seen the photo of you and your family. What does that energy add to a football program come game day?
Well, I know the exposure piece is huge. The energy here for Cat Griz in our stadium, how much will it add to that? I don't know. I mean, I would imagine this is my first home game in the rivalry. I imagine the energy is pretty high anyways. So if it brings some more people out here, it'll dial it up a little bit. But the exposure, that's so hard to quantify. So, thankful that it's gotten this position where they chose to come here and, shine the light on the rivalry, on our conference, Bozeman, MSU, everything. It's going to be a great thing for our fans, our people.
Just with when you had it in 2013 in Fargo, how does that, what kind of, I mean, you weren't a head coach then, but what kind of does that week, what are the, I guess, responsibilities?
I didn't feel like during that week there was a whole lot. It's been a while. It was 9 years ago. I think Tom Rinaldi came out and did a story during the week. It was set up downtown in Fargo, so I believe we brought our players down there on Friday, but it was a ways away from campus. Other than that, there wasn't a lot going on. I suppose we had some players do interviews. Coach Bull did some interviews, but ultimately, it's still about the game, and any chance to get the exposure that it'll provide, we'll take. And also, I think for our fans, I think it's a great opportunity to show what we're all about. I do think that early Saturday morning, it's going to be cold and dark and all that, but I'm sure it'll be crazy out there. But otherwise, as far as I think added elements for our players in the coaches within the program, it did seem like it was a lot better.
I think it's been 3 years since Cat Griz has been in Bozeman. I guess what does that kind of add having this team back here?
Well, I think the crowd is on your side. I mean, whatever that percentage is, that the noise, the noise when you want it, the noise when you don't want it, I guess, that whole part is on your side. And, that's a huge element to playing at home, no matter who you play. And you dial it up on this game, and you're you're playing at home versus in their stadium. I do think there's certainly a different feel. But at any rate, in either place, you can't let the moment get too big. You know, it's still got to be between the white lines. The environment around you, I think you can feed off the emotion. But ultimately, if you can't focus on what's happening on any particular play, then all that is a bad influence. So, you know, I think our guys have done a good job of playing within our home environment and letting it be an asset to us, and we'll need it to be on Saturday.
What sticks out about the Griz offense? And Lucas Johnson went out with an injury last game. I guess what sticks out about that one?
Well, I think when he's played, they've been different. I think that's apparent. You know, his mobility, his experience. You know, I think he's got the ability to throw the ball well. He's got the ability to throw the ball well on the run. You know, when he hasn't played, they've looked different. I know their running back situation has probably settled now, and it's looked pretty good the last couple games with the production they've had there. I think they throw the ball to a variety of guys, so it's not a deal where well, you got to be pinpointed on this guy or another. You know, when they're going, they're a good mix of running the football and play action RPO. You know, and they've been able to play at a high rate in many of their games. And you know, I think the common denominator in those games is Lucas Johnson's playing.
And then defensively, I think O'Connell blowing up a few standouts on that side.
Yeah, it's an aggressive. The guys play so hard on their defense, and it's an aggressive form of defense to start with. And you know, it's an attacking style. It's different than anything else that we see in our league, and I think that helps them, that they're kind of this standalone within our league as far as their scheme goes. But more than anything, their guys, I think they understand it. They play really hard. You know, a guy like O'Connell is a tremendous playmaker within it. And he's used a lot of different ways. You know, I think, you know, certainly in a pass rush mode, he's tough to handle, but then he's doing a lot of different things as well. He's dropping the flat, picking balls off, flying all around. I think their corners are really good. You know, so that allows them to play those front six in a lot of different ways. When you can play man-to-man on the outside and, you know, throw a lot of different versions of that front six at you, probably looks way more complicated than it might even be. But no, they're good on defense, and that's been a consistent thing throughout the season, and it looks a lot like it did last year.
And then special teams, you know, they got some dynamic returners in the league, and especially.
Yeah, you know, start with the kick return game. You know, you look back at some of the old highlights that he's been here forever, it would appear, like Flowers, and he's been making those type of plays at really big moments. I think that's the one thing in my 2 years here, when he's come up with kick returns, it's been, you know, at huge moments. And, you know, so we have to be on our game on a kick cover game, whether that's Blake's ability to kick the ball, collectively with our ability to cover and tackle it. And then punt return game, I know they've used different guys. Junior's been the primary guy, it would seem. He returned punts against us last year, and that was a part of the game that tipped into their favor for sure last year. So, you know, we gotta cover. And you know, I think since that first quarter Weber State, I think we've done a much better job. You know, we talked about it that week that we had guys in place, we just didn't make the plays. I think since that first quarter, which has been several opportunities, we've done a good job. But to say we have had a combination of their returners, I wouldn't say that's the case either.
What are some of the biggest takeaways on or off the field, I guess, from last year's game that you kind of are taking into this one?
Well, I think it goes without saying that the magnitude of what it means to the people in our state is significant. I could tell that from the first day I got the job. I mean, I think it matters so much to so many And it's all the small towns with split loyalties, families with split loyalties. I mean, it's all of that creates a rivalry like we have, and it's a great thing. I mean, we have over 40 players from Montana. I assume they do as well, and all those guys have towns they're from, and they probably have teammates on the other team in some cases, and to be on the right side of it matters. I think as far as the game goes, when you still talk about playing between the white lines and controlling your emotions, but playing with emotion, I think that's part of it. It's in big games, no matter who you're playing, it's about not letting momentum run away from you. And I think that's what we did last year. We had opportunities to at least level the momentum, and we never did in that environment. So, I think the fact that we've played in some big games, we've played in some games where we have had our backs against the wall a little bit. I think that helps us. I think we got to maintain that composure, regardless of the opponent, because there's going to be ebbs and flows in this game. There's no doubt about it. You have two good football teams that are going at it with so much at stake. It's naturally going to be not always in your favor, and we have to find ways to get it back in our favor when it gets away from us.
So same record, same Big Sky stakes going into this one. Does it feel really similar to last year, or are there some pretty key differences that you see?
Yeah, I think that's definitely all the same. All the same things are on the line for us. I think we're different this year, and the makeup of our team is different. What we rely on is different. The things we've maybe overcome through this season are different, and whether we're better or worse, or I don't think that judgment is still probably out there. But I think we're different. Their record's different, so what they're playing for, is still a rivalry in playoffs. But I think there's some things that are the same, but there's so much different. We're playing here in Bozeman that I think we gotta recall last year's experience, and the things that we thought we did well and the things that we didn't, and really just try to put our best foot forward relative to 22.
In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.
Coach, in addition to Cat Griz this weekend, it's also senior night, senior day. What's impressed you most about this group of seniors this year?
Well, I think, this group was in many ways an extension of last year's group. I do see it that way, because there are, there's a lot of 6-year guys in this group that came in with the 5th-year guys, and there was a few 6-year guys last year, but there wasn't a lot. So there's a lot of overlap just with when those guys all got here to Bozeman and started their career at Montana State. So they've been able to carry on a lot of the key things that made that group so special. Just the perseverance, the togetherness, the work ethic. I think those are all the words I would think of. I think we got a group that their experience here really is really important to them, and leaving their legacy is really important to them. And it's not about the individuals in this group. It's about the sum, and that's what you need. And you need guys that ultimately are having their best years. And I think you look across that group, by and large, that's happening.
Are there any injury updates or who's active or not active?
Yeah, and so to start with Sean was able to go against Cal Poly with the nature of the way the game went. We didn't think that was the right thing, so he's ready to go. Lane is still on the mend. I know you guys saw Isaiah out there. Isaiah's making really good progress, and we'll kind of see where that leads us this week. I know offensively we didn't sustain any new injuries. On defense, Brody is coming along, and what that will mean for Saturday, I'm not quite sure, but he's coming along pretty well. And then Danny is as well. And David Alston is the one that did suffer an injury within that game that will be out for weeks, I guess at this point. So yeah, we're doing all right on that front. I know Coy went out early, but Coy will be back ready to go in the game as well.
How pleased were you to see Isaiah Ponce complete his first travel trip? I mean, he didn't suit up or anything, but.
Yeah, I mean, that was our intention to keep getting him closer. And honestly, being out there on a 50, 60 degree day and being able to do the work he did was part of it too. Because building up his stamina is really the most complicated part about not practicing a long time. Is so much of our conditioning through the fall is through practice, and he's been ramping it up, but he's been limited at the same time. So it was a step in the right direction.
Kenny mentioned the defensive. It felt like the calls were getting quicker, the checks were a little smoother. I guess do you have any comment on that, and then just how the defense progressed from the end of the U game?
No, I thought they played well, played confident. I know the one. They scored in two sequences in the first half. The first one involved 2 trick plays and 3 plays. The throwback to the quarterback was a big gain. That's a good call, versus man coverage, which we were in on that play. And then, they scored on the fake reverse pass, I suppose it ultimately was. And we didn't stay in coverage on that. So a couple plays there. I know the later sequence, they complete a ball where Simeon gets thrown to the ground, and that's just what happened. I think that was maybe on 3rd or 4th down, and then we get a little bit of a blown coverage on the next play. So outside of that, I thought we played fast. Like I said, we got pressure on their quarterback. We made it hard on Brosh. We tackled the football when it did maybe get out in space a little bit. I thought our guys came out of that game with a sense of confidence, and that goes into, hearing a call, trusting a call, and going after it, play after play. And I thought by and large we did that.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up. Oh yeah.
I know you kind of talked to this on Saturday, but Marquis was named Co-Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week. I guess what you think of his performance, especially with Mike McDonough?
Well, I think the first thing is he got more opportunities offensively than he has in any other game, and he had some big holes to run through, and then he did what he can do. It's making a guy miss out in space, and it's looking really fast once he got in space. So I think it's been a process with him really making a transition from receiver to running back, really for the last almost 2 months. And that's it's much more than just running the football. It's you're learning a new position and tempo and where runs are supposed to hit, and let alone protections and those type of things. So he's been diligent about that, and when we've gotten him a couple reps here and there, it's looked good. But that obviously it was the most reps he'd gotten, and he made the most of it.
And then even though it was a co-honor, he did win National Player of the Week in the FCS. To have 2 Bobcats do that this year, what did that say about this offense?
Well, we got some good guys blocking up front. We got a good scheme, I think, that the guys understand. And, you know, I think from a coaching staff perspective, we've been able to come in each week and say, here's what we have personnel wise. And then, you know, this is going to be our best mode to attack this particular opponent. So, yeah, you know, we're 10 games in and we're over 300 yards rushing. It's come in all different forms. You know, I think the first credit goes to the offensive line. That's been the steady hand. That's been the rock. And those guys have continued to get better. But then I think just our coaches putting guys in position, and then, you know, we have playmakers. I think, you know, you look at the guys that have rushed for over 200 yards. It's Marquis, Sean, and Tommy, and Elijah, Garrett, Lane have all picked up the pieces, running the ball from the running back position as well. And we got some explosive guys in that group, you know, and speed and being able to finish runs has been apparent, especially when you talk about the top three of those guys.
Sorry, you mentioned Marquis transition to that running back role. I guess what kind of went into that decision? I guess for the last 2 months.
Well, I think, you know, he didn't join us till beginning of July. I think it ended up being, and so getting a real good read on what he could become that was a work in progress. He'd been a slot receiver. He'd return kicks. He'd run the ball in high school, you know, so I think we knew we had that in him, but that was mostly jet sweeps and those type of things. So I think we intended on using him in that role. And then when our depth became what it was early, you know, okay, who's then your next best candidate to maybe hand the ball off to? And you know, that's where it started. And but like I said, there's more to it than, okay, just go back there and we're gonna hand the ball. There's footwork, there's timing, and he's been really good about, you know, while not getting tons of game reps, continuing to get better at it, you know, over the course of each week. So, you know, credit to him, but he's talented, and I think we've all seen when he gets the ball in his hand, he's dangerous, and so it was good to see it happen on offense as opposed to just depending on those returns, because, you know, as you saw, they didn't kick 1-2 in that game.
Coulter, do you have anything?
I'll just call you here in just a sec, Bill.
Okay, very good. Anything else, guys? Thank you.
In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.